Welcome back to JASBO'S Simple Art. The last video, I'm sorry, but I really didn't notice. I have a window over here and it's putting a lot of glare. Couldn't really see what was going on. As I review the video, I realized that. So I put a curtain up. Hopefully it didn't block out too much light now. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to change a little bit. I don't like my pond thing down here. It just makes the picture too dizzy. You'd want to make sure that it's not that busy when you do this. And that after I sat back and I looked at it, I did realize that, yeah, I've got too much going on here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just delete this. I'm going to continue some other colors down in here to cover up what I've got here. And how I'm going to do that, I'm going to bring out my grays and my green and my little bit of brown again. I'm going to continue this color out through here, possibly some of this earth green. Now I went and picked up another color. I believe this is it. Warm brown. Not quite as red, but I didn't like the color it was before. I'm a true believer in mixing your own color, but the reason why I'm just buying these colors is I think it makes it better for the video, and you don't have to sit here and watch me try to find the right color through trial and error. Although, to me, that's half the fun. So I'm going to put some of this warm brown on here. And I'm going to try that out by itself to begin with. And yes, I did clean my brushes this time. And I'm going to find me, yep, here's my wide brush. I really like this wide brush. It's getting kind of worn because I've used it for so many years. Back when I used to do this. But I'm going to just try to erase this. And it's not hard to do because it's wet, or it's dry now. So I can easily fill this in. Now remember, I want my dark color to be in the background so that can be covered later on if need be. But it probably will be. I'm going to bring a little bit of that in here and redo my weeds because I like this brown so far. I don't want to put too much back in here because we're starting to show some different colors back in there from the dark barn, no light being back in there. I'm really not that particular about the edges because, as I said before, the edges are all going to be behind a frame, or if you frame it, which I will probably do. Okay, I'm going to add a little swipe of this brown every once in a while because the way I want to pattern my grass here is going to need that. Now my plan in substituting the pond is I'm going to put in like an old rugged fence. And you know, all farmyards have fences. This is an old barn. I'm not done with trees yet. I'm going to add more of a realistic tree back here. This is great for background behind, but what I need to do is bring in a real close-up tree here, and I'm going to do that. But first of all, I've got to build. First of all, I'm going to put in where my fence is going to be, because I think that's going to be important to the story here. I'm not sure if I want it far back, like in the background, if I want it closer in the foreground. Either way it goes. I believe what I'm going to do, actually, better yet, I'm going to put in my secondary tree or two. because then I can put the fence in front of it. It wouldn't hurt the railing at all. I wouldn't have to blend in around that. Find my right size brush for like a fence rail. This isn't too bad. Now I'm going to bring in that light gray again. If I can find it. I put everything up here on the shelf, so now I can't find it, of course. Gray sky, I believe that's it. I'm just going to kind of draw it kind of like even with the barn, not like going off into the sunset or nothing. I just want it to be basically to take up space in my drawing here, or my painting. I may be a little bit too wide, but I can fix that in the outcome of this whole thing. Now I want this to look old and rustic, of course, like I did the barn. So there's going to be some more things brought into it. One thing I need is the dark gray. Oops, this doesn't screw off. Okay, well, I'm going to try it with the dark gray, although I may want to go smaller, lighter. I'm going to try to edge this in. Try to get that three-dimensional thing going here, which is a lot easier said than done. But I also want to give it to that not perfect wood look. I'm making those streaks in there just to give it that, as I said, not perfect wood look. I think I'm making my board a little bit too wide down here at the bottom, so I'm going to have to blend that back. I can always use my brown, as I did on the bottom, to even it up, and that's fine. I'm going to add some more of this in there because it does make a good streak. I'm trying to give it that less than perfect wood rail look. Now I'm going to take, I believe I'm going to take my brown back. I'm going to try to doctor this up down here where I screwed this up. I am not good. My younger years, I could do straight lines real well. As I get older, I get shakier, and those lines aren't the greatest anymore. But I have found how to cover up those mistakes. You'll probably be seeing me do that today. I think I about ran out of that brown. I have to change that a little bit. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in maybe my next post or a post coming in. Figure out which brush it was. There it is. A little wider brush than I want. I want to have this come up above. Okay. And here I might want to bring in my next rail. Better yet, I'm going to bring in my next post. Because I don't want this to be perfect, remember. By saying that, I'll show you here what I mean. This next board is going to be broken. Yep. It's going to go down like that. And then we're going to go straight on to where it was supposed to be, right over there. Then I'm going to have my third post. Whoa, that's wide. Going to come in here. I will lay in that division. Between the two. See, it's okay to have it this way because the way I have it here, they're nailed on the back side of the fence. So we're good there. But you just want to give it that imperfect look. Get these a little bit longer. Just enough idea of the imperfect look. Now there's going to be more brown to catch up here because that board is really too wide. I also got to be able to bring in something like cracks in the board to show why it broke or its after effect from being broke. So let's get this brown in there to mask over my goof up. Woo! Carpenters use wood putty to fill in their mistakes. We just wait and put on another coat of paint. That's all artists do. Okay, now that I've got that on there, what I want to do is start finally bringing in the other colors. I need some black on there also because the bottom of the board and maybe a fine line at the top. Oh! Maybe I should have that over the palette next time. That was not pretty. Oh, man, I got that all over my hands. Look at that. I just paint off my fingers and I'm doing good. I'm gonna have to remember that next time I open that. And black is staining, so it'll take me a while to get that off. Whoa, I just put it right back on. Okay, back to what I was doing. Take my fine tip brush here, and I'm going to try to work in the shadows, the bottoms, the backs. I don't want it to be stark like cartoonish. I want it to blend. Let it sit here for a minute. Then we'll come back and we'll get that sucker to blend. Whoop. That's something, getting older, you can't hold nothing straight anymore. I'm wavy as all get out. We'll blend it all in together. What it's doing is giving it that cartoon look, which I really don't like, but we'll fix that here in a little bit. What I mean by cartoony look, anytime you have a dark edge, black, pure black, it does look kind of comical. Too drawn, well, this is drawn, but we try to make it look as realistic as we can in our paintings. And as I do this, I see that I'm going to have to go back over it and keep touching up with the brown or the whatever I want on the background there. But I'm getting it down to where I can start feathering in my three-dimensional look. And that's what this is all about. Getting that three-dimensional thing going on. Yeah, I have to do the back of this post. Remember, it's going in front of the wood. And keeping in mind, I'm remembering where the sun is at. Remember, it's coming from this direction, so I want that to be on that side. I want a little bit on the other side, but I'm going to do that in the dark gray because I don't want it to be too dramatic. And as I do this, I'm probably going to go back and blend it with my black. had to change that a little bit. I did away kind of accidentally with the black. Put the gray on just a little too heavy. But in doing so, we might be able to create a more 3D effect. And I'm going to draw in my little mid stripes. I am going to bring in a little of a black, just very finely, if I can, to determine the edges. And just nothing else, polka dot alone. Just to show some definition. Now I'm going to bring in that light gray again. Trying to brush away those sharp edges. Okay, that post came out pretty good. I'm happy with that. It'll probably dry even better. But remember, we've got to put our foreground in that also. The other thing I need to do here, well, I need to get rid of this, blend this black in, because it's just a little too stark. Okay, and now I need to go and blend in the bottom of these. Oh, Lordy, where did that come from? That's all right. We can deal with that. I've really got a wavy hand going. This is not what I wanted. How I can deal with that, as I said I could deal with it, is easily. It's make it look like part of the board. No problem. Board has many textures. I have a cat visitor again. She doesn't seem to want to do without me, not even for a little while. And I got to clean up the bottom here just a little bit. Because I think my board gained weight. And I hope you can see where it's starting to get a little bit of a definition to the 3D. A little bit. Not sure if you can see that up there on camera or not. I don't like this area right in here. It's just, the black is just too outstanding to me. May take some more of this brown. And as you do this, you'll find out there's going to be lots of places you don't like. So what we do is we just go back over it until we get it where we like it. That's better. Get this corner right here. Okay. Now, we've got this, you know, this is tedious operation, trust me. Very tedious. Takes time to develop this. I believe I want to lighten this up just a hair. It's too much heavy gray. Okay, that's better. Now, still need to have a touch of that black, just right down in here. Just a touch. Okay, now I'm going to take this dark gray again. I'm going to start going down over this one. It's already mixed somehow with black, probably from the top. Okay, now I got to bring in some darker color here at the top. Okay, this is our broken board. So we got to kind of remember that in this. So what I'm going to do, take some of this dark gray, mix it with some of that black, make it a little darker, but not too dark. I'm going to make a big old split come down in here. By the way, we've got to do this separation of boards here. Okay, a little bit of that gray in here. Lighten that up. I think I put that on a little dark. Go back to my light gray again. Lighten that up. This is just an old broken board. Sorry I'm not talking too much. For some reason I'm having to concentrate with this one because this one is not going the way I planned on it going. Get some more of this back in here. Lessen it a little bit. Okay, now what I want to do with this bottom one's the same thing, just repetitive. After I get done with this section, I'm going to go in and I'm going to start bringing in our background, because I can actually do this part later in the doing of this this painting. Whew, I'm not good at that. Wish I could still keep my hands still and steady. Need to bring this board down, back down on the sky a little bit. It's up there a little ways. Or too thick. Okay, I'm going to try to add in a little definition here. Give me a little something to draw against. This should have some shadowing behind it because we are behind a fence post. Same thing with up here. Okay. Now I'm going to bring in that white in again to blend those colors together. I have done, I don't know how many hundreds of fence posts, and there's no two that I have done that looks the same. Each one brings its own characters and its own look into the thing, into the painting, each time. I haven't figured that part out yet. Evidently, it just happens to have something to do with the artist. Well, maybe that's the problem. I'm not an artist. I'm trying to bring this back down to a reasonable size. Easier said than done. Now, what we're going to do now is I'm going to start, you know, while I'm here at this point, I'm going to start bringing in some more of those the weed effect. And of course, when I went and got more paints, I also got some another green and a yellow to go in with the green and yellows that I was using. So I have that one, that's foliage, that's one I had before. I have this lighter green, oh, it's a yellow green. Matter of fact, that's what it's called, yellow green. And it hasn't been opened yet again. My nightmare, the foil. That is my nightmare. I got a mess going on back here with those lids. Whoops. That helped it. Okay, I've got this. Probably using way too much, again. And where's my yellow ochre? Right here. I use way too much of this. Wow. Okay. First of all, I always start out with the yellow ochre. It makes a good background. But I'm going to, I've got a hair on that. I'm just going to start out this base. Of course, I'm going to bring it up across. I'm going to just bring that right on over to the barn. Okay, now I'm going to come back with that green. And I'm going to start brushing in the green. Of course. You knew that was coming. Okay, now the reason why I got this other green, I thought this was always missing something before, so I'm going to try this and just see if it doesn't bring in just a little bit more dimension. Maybe not that heavy. You always want to use your lighter colors on top. I like to. Darker colors to the background, it just seems to work better for me. I believe that's the color I was looking for, the addition. Okay, now let's take this green. I'm going to switch and use the green this time. I'm just going to start smearing it above this board, which is fine. The bottom board didn't have to be perfect. And we're going to start just drawing that in. Now I'm going to go to the yellow ochre, and try to blend in the middle here so we don't keep that same pattern going each time. Okay, now let's go with some of that green, that light green I had. Let's see if we can't perk that up. Brush strokes are getting kind of wide, and that's hard to control even with a fine tip brush. Okay, I don't want to go too far here because I have not done that yet. Okay, now another thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to add in a leafy type bush, maybe you might think, that's coming out from the side of the barn, kind of in behind it. Take some of this dark green and put in with it. Ew. Give it a little life. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a very fall color. Use that orange that we were using. And I'm going to bring it down on that particular tree. Do I have another brush? That is my question. This might do it. What I want to do is just kind of like dot some leaves. And you just kind of let your imagination go with you here. And you can see how that would come out from behind the barn, kind of sticking there. But we're also going to put some up in this area. Since I've got this one already here, it's the tallest one, I'm going to continue that on up the hill. I'm going to branch it. Maybe another branch, and maybe another branch. Then I'm going to bring that green back into it. Oops, that's a little broad. It's all right. We'll figure that out. I'm trying to show just a little fall color. Let's take some of that very light brown we had. This is the warm brown. I believe it was this one. No, they're both, I bought 2 bottles of the same color. Oh boy, I got a dark brown. I think that's what I thought I was doing, was the dark brown. But anyway, I want to bring some of that back into this to start giving that dead look, like it's fall, it's dying. I'm not sure if you can see that there. the way it's toning up. But it is giving a color look like it is dying with the fall. Going dormant, I must say, not dying. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to come back in with that orange again. Oop, wrong tool. The reason why I like this one, it's got a little flatter tip. I can kind of brush tip the edges and just kind of dot it. Gotta put it on heavy here because it is in front of a door. Then we're going to come back later and we're going to bring in some actual branches maybe. Ooh, that went on thick. Didn't like that. Okay, almost looks like a little tree. I'm going to put a little bit more of that brown because I really don't like the way it's drying. I think I need to build it a little heavier. Maybe be a small little tree branching up. Whatever, the imagination pretends to be here. I'm going to take this yellow. I'm going to just kind of like lighten it up. Bring it back more of a live dead look. Okay. Now, this over here, I really don't want to go into this right now because that takes a while and I don't want to bore you to death with that. We're getting to the point of the painting where there's really not that much left to do. And sometimes that's my favorite places, when there's nothing much left to do. So I'd add in some features. Which, you know, we're going to keep on working on that. Matter of fact, I might just do that. Let's get this this going again. I like to just kind of play with it and see where it takes me with my grass and weed flow here. One thing I do like to do is make like wagon paths coming in to the barn. I never thought about that until I'd already cut through there. But we're going to just keep on pretending. And we might bring that in. Might not be too late. Matter of fact, I do have a path started here. Might be able to just continue it that way and take some brown and mark through that other part. That could be. But it's starting to really look good. Hope you're enjoying this. I'm not going to keep you out here too much longer. I just wanted to show you that basically today I was doing away with our pond. I like my fence idea better. One thing I wanted to do before you leave here, I wanted to show you where my tree is going to be that I want to put back here and all the fall colors and glory that it will have. I'll start out with the dark brown or the dark gray wherever I put it. Okay. And I think what I'm going to do is, well, I may make a couple trees. Really don't have the right brush for this. If you ever do your limbs, never do them perfect, symmetrical. Trees aren't perfect and they're not symmetrical, for one thing. Then I'm going to put another one somewhere over here. Maybe come down a little farther with this one. A little bit bigger tree or something. Oh, that's a lot bigger tree. Not what I meant it to be. Well, we can work with it. Okay, I don't go too much farther into the limbs because I don't want to overburden it before I put on my foliage. If that makes any sense. Adding my light gray in. Getting a little, try to get a little of that dimension in there. Just enough to start it. So you can see where I'm going with this one. it's going to be, I'll have to come down here and put some tree roots or put something in to have the grass to go up against. We're going to bring in some fall foliage up here. This one, of course, is going to be a lot bigger than this one, so we're going to have to change a little color. We don't want identical colors side by side. What I believe I'm going to do is start dotting in. Let's see, I bought this new brush, and I thought I could use that for stomping a little color. Let me see if I can do that. We'll try it together. And again, I'm letting my imagination play with me. We got this other color that I want to try also. Pumpkin or something like that, caramel. I want to see how that's going to play in with this, if it's even going to work. Not sure. We're going to find out. Almost, it's so close to yellow ochre. It's so close. Not sure if I like the stamping motion, but it works. I don't want the tree to look too straight up and down. I want it to spread out. And it's starting to fill in. I like to come back over top of where my branches end, give it a reason to end. It's not shining through the tree leaves. Then we'll come back and I'll blend in some other colors along with that later on, so you can see how it'll blend together. I kind of like this pumpkin color. But still, I'm going to bring in yet that yellow to give it the sunlight that comes in on these things. Let's do that. Whoops, wrong yellow. I don't want a bright yellow. It might be a little bit much. Okay, I don't want too much of that. I don't want to get carried away with it. And what I want to do is bring in my small flat brush, this one, and I want to continue my limb. Oops, not enough dark. Well, for some reason the dark's not coming in. Because you don't want it to just end. You want it to show, you know, its presence. I just kind of dot it in and out. That's basically all you have to do. Then I'm going to try another little trick. Wow, I love my fantails. What I like these for is I'll come back and I'll draw in some little limbs. I should do that on my original video, what I like to do with these things. It gives it some authenticity, you might say. Whoops, where'd my gray go? I'm not sure if you can see that on there or not, but I've got quite a few little limbs just starting off here and there, representing the tree growth, of course. Of course, it is fall, so you're going to have a few dead ones here and there, like that one. Now the other tree down here below, that might be a trick. I might even do away with it because that's kind of, I think that's overdoing the painting a little bit. So let me get rid of that. Take some of this foliage green and put it in with this gray that I'm just about out of. That I am out of. Right. Nope. Is that the right gray? I think it is. I'm just going to erase it. And I don't think, whoa, wait, hold on. I need that green. I also have brown in here, don't I? I think I have more brown than I got anything now. That's all right, it'll all come out in the wash, as they say. As I say, I guess. But I think I'm going to end it there today. I don't want to get it going too crazy. The only thing we're lacking now is some fine details here and there. Got to finish this little thing right here, finish the tree bark here. Got to patch in some of this weird color, either that or I'm known to cover up weird colors. Got to add in some more grass, maybe a pathway leading to the barn. But so far, it's not looking too bad. I need to work some more up here. This is too dark for down here. I need to figure that part out. But otherwise, we're going to quit for now. I'm going to leave it here. Hope you're enjoying this, and I hope you're liking the painting, and I also very much hope that you're painting along with me, and maybe we can learn things together. Don't forget to like, hit the little bell, notification bell, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching JASBO'S Simple Art.